Hi, my name is Soleil and welcome back to the Little Reader's Corner. Today we're talking about my spring TBR. How many books of my winter TBR did I read? Well, that's a question for another day. Today though, we are going to talk about this beautiful little stack of books. I have quite a few here and everything's going to be fine. I'm currently reading at least 2 of these, so we're going to make it through. Most of these are contemporaries because, listen, I just need to escape this world and stumble into a world that's semi-similar so I don't have to think about too many deep, intricate fantasy plots. First, before we get into my TBR, let's talk about TIJN Eyewear. So TIJN was so glad to send me glasses again. They actually sent me these glasses about a year ago, and I've been wearing them every single day for the past year. They are my favorite glasses of all time. But I recently had to update my prescription, and you guessed it, looking at a computer for about 12 hours a day will make your eyesight worsen. So I needed to get stronger glasses, and I decided I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I love these and I will be getting updated lenses in these, but TIJN was so kind to send me a new pair with my new prescription, so I cannot wait to try these on. I just received them in the mail. So these are the glasses. I'm so excited. They look really cute and they look exactly like what I was going for, which is like cartoon graphic novel character in a library, giant glasses. So I'm so excited, and also I can't wait to see how the world looks like with, you know, sharpened vision, because I have been having to squint for the past 2 months since I realized I needed updated prescription. Oh my god, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I love them. This means that I can fully live out my dreams of being Daisy from Giant Days. Anyways, so thank you so much for TIJN. I actually also got a 10% off coupon code, which I will link down below. The discount code is Little Readers Co, and I will have all that information and a link down below if you're interested in TIJN Eyewear. I love how cute and affordable their glasses are, and I just love their frames. Anyways, let's go back to my TBR. So let's get started. First off, we have quite the stack of Alice Oseman books. Yes, I own all of Alice Oseman's work and I love it. So I'm going to be reading all of these because I've been meaning to for quite a while. I was able to collect all of the UK covers because I love them so much. We'll go through them each individually in a bit. But now that the Heartstopper show is coming out soon, and I just actually read through all of the Heartstopper volumes again as a little reread treat this past weekend, which you will see that reading vlog very soon, or it's already out. Who knows? But I felt so inspired to finally read through all of these. One of these is a reread, the others I actually haven't gotten to yet. So let's go through these. So first off, I'm going to be starting with the run that I have already read. It is one of my favorite books of all time. I actually just started the audiobook for this, and I don't reread books really ever, and like school book rereading, that's completely over there, that doesn't count. But for pleasure, I just don't reread books. I don't know what it is. I rewatch movies, I rewatch TV, but books, I just don't ever reread them. I've only reread books by choice that I enjoy, I think 3 times in my life. So we are going to be rereading Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I read this initially in 2018. I listened to the audiobook. It was just something I randomly picked up after I heard a recommendation or 2, and I was like, yeah, why not? I need a new book to listen to. I went through it in 2 days, which isn't very common for me. I absolutely loved it, and it's time for a bit of a reread. Also, I finally got this cover, which is my favorite thing of all time. I love this cover so much. This is a story about Frances. She goes to high school. She's a really diligent studier, and she just doesn't feel like her friends really know much more about her than the fact that she studies a lot. But she's really passionate about this podcast on YouTube called University, and then at some point she gets the chance to start doing artwork for this podcast, and she becomes more involved with the show. Meanwhile, in her personal life, she makes a new wonderful friend who can finally see her her for who she really is. And it's just a wonderful story about friendship, about a lot of things, about finding yourself. Also, just it has fantastic buy rep and just so many wonderful things. So this will be a reread. And then next I will be reading Solitaire. So if you have read Heartstopper, this focuses on Tori Spring, who is the older sister of Charlie Spring, who is the main character of Heartstopper. Throughout all the Alice Oseman verse, all of these characters are they're all in the same universe basically. So this one is about Tori. She just doesn't like anything really. She hates most people. She's just kind of apathetic about most things, but throughout this she makes a couple friends. There's also this thing called Solitaire and blogging, sleeping, good things. So I'm really excited about this one. And then after that, I will be reading Nick and Charlie, and this winter, these are little novellas that are focused in a couple of days. So this one is about Nick leaving for university, Charlie still being in his last year of high school, and them going through difficult times of a little bit of a long distance relationship. Now this winter is about Tori, Charlie, and their little brother Oliver, and they're trying to get through Christmas Day with not so much drama, but this actually takes place after a lot of really emotional, heavy things go on in Charlie and Tori's life, which you know if you've read either Solitaire or you've read Heartstopper. There are a couple months around Christmas that are really tough for both of them. So this is what happens during those months. And then I'll be reading I Was Born for this. So this is the only one that's kind of separate from the other ones, I think. I'm not sure if there are any other people that are in the other books that are in this one. But this is about Angel and a pop rock trio of teen boys called The Ark. And Angel has been in this fandom for a long time. It's everything that she loves. And somehow the band and Angel stumble upon each other and things happen. So this sounds really fun as well. And then I have 2 copies of Loveless. So this is the UK edition, and the US hardcover special edition actually just released, which is really exciting. And this one's beautiful, and I think it has, does it have anything exclusive in it, or is it just a special cover? I think it might just be a special cover. Oh, and it has a little design underneath the jacket as well. So very bold of me to get a second copy of a book without having read it, but I love Alice Oseman's writing so much that I feel pretty strongly that I'm going to enjoy this one as well. So this is a story about Georgia. She just started university and she is asexual, and she is on a mission to try to find love, to try to find romance. But she is still learning about her identity and she isn't sure how she fits into the world. So it's a lot about self-discovery and her just making her way into university. So I'm excited about this one as well. And now onto the 2 fantasy series that I am currently reading. So I will be reading all of those, but then also slowly making my way through the kind of the 3rd, but not really the 3rd Witcher book. So the first 2 Witcher books that I read are like short story collections, but also kind of prequels, and they don't necessarily take place in like the main storyline, but they show a lot of the character's background. They give you a real nice taste of the world, which is why I started off with them and why a lot of people recommend starting off with those. And then the main storyline that will be continuing for the series starts with this one, which is the Blood of Elves. So one thing that I keep saying about the first 2 like short story collections for The Witcher is I don't consider them really short story collections, because it's more like a couple adventures that you get the taste of, and you see these adventures going on and they all connect into the broader timeline, the broader universe. Calling them short stories I think can put people off, because I personally, when I found out that they were short stories, was really nervous about reading them because I just don't like short stories. I've read good short stories and I try not to hold the short story or novella genre against a story, but I just prefer having more story, more time for characters to develop, and I find it really difficult to really settle into a plot or a storyline if it's so short. So don't let that put you off that they are short story collections, because it's more like a bunch of adventures sewn together. Anyways, so this book continues with the adventures of Geralt of Rivia and all of the other characters in the Witcher universe. So if you've watched the show, I definitely recommend starting off with the other books first because they give a lot of the stories that are in the first season and actually the second season of the Witcher show. But I'm quite sure that the second season also included quite a bit of this story as well. So I'm excited to keep reading it because I loved the first two books that I read. And then of course, this tome, which is The House of Sky and Breath, the second book in the Crescent City series. So I got this the second day after it came out and I have been diligently getting through it ever since. It is huge. I think it's almost 1,000 pages. Is it 1,000 pages? No, it's not. It's like 800 pages, whatever. You know what? In my mind, this is basically 1,000 pages because it is a giant. The audiobook is like 22 hours long. I'm currently about 30% through in the audiobook. I'm not sure where that is in the physical copy, but this is going to take me quite a while. And I know most people who bought it the first day have already finished it. And my slow reading speed has absolutely no correlation to my enjoyment of this book. But I know that when I am stressed, when I have a lot going on in my life, and when I'm listening to like a high fantasy audiobook, which is just how I have to consume most of my books these days because I'm so busy, I just don't have the brain capacity to fully like keep track of all the characters. And there was one chapter in here where all the bros were just together and there were like 10 different men, and I swear all their names sound similar and I couldn't figure out who was who. So it's gonna take me a while because I have to actually be very physically present to understand what's going on. So it's gonna take me a while. If you don't know what Crescent City is about, it's basically like a more modern fantasy world. So there's modern technology, but it's still in a fantasy world. So this takes place in a city, and the first one is kind of like a little bit of a murder mystery since they're trying to figure out how this one person was murdered and track down all these things. If you've read any of the other books by Sarah J. Maas, you'll love this one just as much. There are many different kinds of fantastical creatures and beings, and there is a lot of intricate lines coming together in this story. So those are all of the books that I am for sure planning on reading this spring. And if I don't finish some of them, they will be rolling over into my summer TBRs since these are anticipated reads for the year. Some anticipated releases, only like one of them is an anticipated release. Let me know a book that you are really excited to read this spring. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next one. Make sure to like, comment, and definitely subscribe so you will know how I'm doing with these books and keep updated on my reading. Have a wonderful day. Bye!